Hi, Cassidy. I thought I would read a book to you on the phone. It's called Misery. Misery. Misery is when you spend your last 10 cents on a good humor and it falls off the stick. Misery is when your grasshopper collection falls off the shelf and you never told your mom that you collected grasshoppers. Misery is when you're playing jacks and your girlfriend is on backsies and you're still on twosies. Misery is when your friends have big spaces and all you have is baby teeth. Misery is when you eat a whole box of Cracker Jacks and you realize you ate the prize. Misery is when you are riding in a car and everyone smells dog duty and you discover it's on your shoes. Misery is when your kite is flying higher than everyone else's because you let go of the string. Misery is when you bring the class hamster home for the weekend and it disappears into a mouse hole. Misery is when you have to go to dancing school and you don't know how to dance and all the girls are taller than you. Misery is when you've told your best friend personal things and you find out she's not your best friend anymore. Whoops. Misery is when you come out of the ocean and you can't find your bathing suit top. Misery is when you are going to play hockey with the boys and you have to wear your sister's white figure skates because yours don't fit. Misery is when there are 4 kids on the playground and only 3 swings. Misery is when you have a lot of knots in your shoelaces and it's gym day at school. Misery is when you send 23 Valentines to your best friends and you only receive 19. Misery is when it's Halloween and you are a ballerina and your mother makes you wear a coat and nobody can see your costume. Misery is when you have skin on your cocoa and your great aunt is taking care of you because your mother and father are on vacation. Misery is when your friend gives you a birthday present and you already have it and you can't say, "I've got one." Misery is when it's a real hot day and there's a hole in the plastic wading pool. Misery is when you have 2 peanut butter sandwiches and no milk to wash it down. Misery is when you wear overalls and your straps fall in the toilet and you have to keep wearing them. Misery is when everyone is nice to you because you're going to have your appendix out. Misery is when you have a big red jelly apple and a loose tooth. Misery is when your baby sister goes into your room and eats your finger paints and you get the blame. Misery is when you're the only one in your swimming group who doesn't have nose plugs. Misery is when your girlfriend comes over your house after school to play house, and your girlfriend also wants to be the mother, and if she's not, she's going home. Misery is when you spend your whole allowance on a genuine tournament yo-yo and the string breaks. Misery is when you put your silver dollar in the pocket with the hole in it. Misery is when you find out there's no such thing as Santa Claus. Misery is when you are playing in the snow and you come in to go to the bathroom and you can't get your snowsuit off. Misery is when you get a roll of Necco wafers and there are no brown ones. Misery is when you are the fattest kid in the class and it's time to go to the nurse's office to be measured and weighed. Aww. Misery is when you take the school hearing test and everyone is still writing but you. Misery is when your mother's best friend pinches your cheek and tells you how much you've grown and you have to smile and your cheek hurts and you're the tallest kid in the class. Misery is when you try out your sister's high chair and you get stuck because you're 7 years old. Misery is when you've got your birthday and the measles on the same day. Misery is the way you feel after your first cigarette. Misery is when you rush home from school because you have to go to the bathroom and you sit down real quick and your brother just went before you. Misery is when your mother throws away the empty cornflake box and there was a coupon on it for a Yogi Bear mask. Misery is when you have your tonsils out and they don't have cherry vanilla ice cream. Misery is when you come home from school and find out your mother cleaned your drawers and threw away your secret signal ring. Misery is when grown-ups don't realize how miserable kids can feel.